Part 4 opens up with Naragi stumbling through the city in search of someone to abuse. On his way, he meets a seriously injured man who requests he end his misery. However, Naragi does not fulfill his request and leaves him to suffer. On the other hand, while playing a game together, Anne and Kuina happen to run into each other. Jack of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds, and King of Hearts are among the face cards that are being used in different games at the same time. These cards are followed by the games like throwball, rope climbing, and poker. The trickiest game involves a tunnel where players have to avoid a dangerous animal that is pursuing them. Anne and Kuina play together and boldly leave the arena after winning the games. Here, we are shown that the King of Spades and the Queen of Hearts are now the only cards that are left to be acquired. This also indicates that now people have to play only 2 games. Next, while searching the city for weapons, Arisu roams around the devastated city and unexpectedly meets Kishia on the street. The two become very happy to see each other alive, and Kishia mentions that he has something to say to Arisu. Sadly, before he can say anything, Naragi arrives there, holding a gun, and begins to open fire at Kishia, injuring him. Arisu tries to stop Naragi, but he is in no mood to listen to him. He rather proposes they shoot each other and end their lives. When Kishia blindly shoots at them, the two hide behind the cars parked there. Right then, Usagi also arrives there and asks Naragi to stop shooting. Unfortunately, Naragi refuses to follow her request and begins shooting at her. Out of kindness, Kishia rushes to save Usagi and stands in front of her, taking the bullet intended for Usagi. In the meantime, Arisu also shoots Naragi and injures him badly. Here, despite struggling to catch up his breath, Kishia is still happy with his decision that he chose to sacrifice his life in order to save Usagi and Arisu. Arisu approaches Kishia and asks him what he was about to say before. Sadly, before Kishia can say a word, he falls unconscious. All of a sudden, a flying plane carrying the King of Spades flag hovers above them and gunfire can be heard at a distance. As people begin to respond furiously, the King of Spades arrives there and starts shooting at them. While hiding behind a vehicle, Kuina and Anne are noticed by Usagi and Arisu, and the group gets reunited. Kuina inquires with Arisu about Kishia's location, but he refuses to tell her anything and lies to her, telling her that Kishia is absolutely fine. With the King of Spades killing people at random, the 4 of them also make the decision to kill the king, fighting against him as a group. Soon, the King of Spades wearing a black cloak arrives there and notices the group. When the king attacks Anne, Kuina is able to divert his attention and save her. Anne uses this opportunity to flee, but the king now pursues Kuina. Next, the king takes off his mask and cloak to reveal his face. When the king starts pursuing Arisu and Usagi, Akane arrives there in time and shoots the king with her arrow, but to no avail. Surprisingly, Aguni also shows up and begins shooting at the King of Spades. In the next scene, the whole team reunites and makes a plan to fight against the King of Spades. They decide to lure the king inside a drugstore nearby and cause a great explosion to kill him. As the King of Spades supplies himself with his ammunition from the flying planes, the team members make him follow them to a narrow path away from the planes. While Kuina and Anne are distracting the king, Arisu fills the drugstore with gas cans to cause an impacting explosion. Though this act has a risk of losing one's life, Arisu still wants to do it. Despite their great plan, the king turns out to be a strong and clever human being. Everyone tries their best to attack the king and kill him, but all of them fail. Out of nowhere, when the king is about to shoot Aguni, Akane stands in front of Aguni and saves him, taking bullets into her chest. Following this, the king turns to Anne and also shoots her. Kuina and Usagi also try to stop the king but get stabbed by a knife. Witnessing his friends getting shot and stabbed, Aguni gets enraged and points a gun at the King of Spades. Sadly, before he can pull the trigger, the king shoots him and the bullet brushes his skull, knocking him unconscious. With everyone else on the ground, the king then pursues Arisu. Arisu quickly enters the drugstore and prepares to attack him. However, the king does not enter the drugstore and decides to take an alternative route. Seeing this, out of nowhere, Aguni arrives there and pushes the king inside the drugstore, breaking the door. Realizing that Aguni is with the king, Arisu hesitates to throw the bomb inside the drugstore, but Aguni insists on doing so. Luckily, before the drugstore explodes, Aguni and Arisu manage to escape and save their lives. The drugstore is badly destroyed and so is the king. He hands over his gun to Aguni and asks him to kill him. Without wasting any time, Aguni pulls the trigger and kills the King of Spades. Following this, when Aguni is about to end his own life, he again gets a vision of Hatter, who stops him from doing so. Here, we are shown a glimpse of all the characters where we can see that Akuna is still alive and is dragging her toward Aguni. Similarly, Anne and Kuina are also alive, and they make a final vow to rekindle their friendship in the real world. Kuina witnesses Anne's death, but fails to do anything to protect her. Moving on, Arisu and Usagi decide to play the last game and walk toward the arena containing the Queen of Hearts. They still believe that after winning the final game, they will get a chance to return to their real world and continue their normal lives. To their surprise, when they reach the arena, they find out that the Queen of Hearts is none other than Mira. Mira welcomes them to the game arena and starts telling them the rules of the final game called Queen of Croquet. She mentions that the game has 3 rounds and there will be no winner of the game, and that they just need to finish the game. With 4 different colored balls and the hoops present at different locations, the game begins and both the players, Arisu and Mira, start playing it. Mira wins the first round and Arisu wins the second one. As Usagi is bleeding from her injured leg, Arisu wants to finish the game quickly, but Mira keeps delaying it. After the second round, Mira offers them a cup of tea and states that it is also a part of the final game. When everyone sits around a table to have tea, Arisu asks Mira if they can return to their real world after completing the final game. To his dismay, Mira replies to him that he will get his answers only after the game ends. But before that, Mira decides to tell him some hard-hitting facts. Mira then addresses all the numerous technological advancements, including artificial intelligence, cryogenics, and cell production, that humanity has made possible. She also mentions that after 1,000 years in the future, human life will be so advanced and immortal. Moving on, Mira tells Arisu that in the coming 50 years, people will get cured of cancer, and there will be no barrier between the rich and the poor. To everyone's surprise, she also states that after 500 years, a shot of dopamine will be sufficient to escape death, making humans immortal. When Mira explains that they are participating in this game digitally, Arisu cannot believe it. Soon, Mira starts laughing and she declares that whatever she said before is false. Then Mira begins discussing genetic abnormalities and claims that their memories have been totally wiped out in order to make them participate in the games. By this point, Arisu has fully run out of patience and demands to know whether her theory about the game is true. Once more, Mira lies and just shifts the subject by saying that she has no knowledge about it. Hearing this, Arisu runs out of patience and points a gun at her. Usagi attempts to stop him, but Arisu seems enraged from his heart. Soon after pausing briefly, Arisu understands that everything Mira is doing is a ruse to end the game. As the Queen of Hearts is the last face card game, if Mira is killed, the game cannot be finished and humans will remain on this planet. In the meantime, Usagi realizes that Mira is a skilled manipulator who is tricking Arisu into thinking this existence is real. But in truth, everything in it is a lie. Mira then tells Arisu that whatever game he is playing here is all created in his head. It is all a figment of Arisu's imagination. She also mentions that all of the games have something to do with the death of his best pals, Karub and Chota. The scene then shifts to a hospital, where Arisu is now a patient at the hospital receiving therapy from his psychiatrist, Mira Kano. Usagi is also a patient in the same hospital, receiving therapy related to the passing of her father. As depicted in the first season, Chota and Karub never really made it to the public restroom and were killed while they were trying to cross the busy road. As Arisu could not save his friends and he lied to everyone about their death, he believes himself guilty and wants to end his life. Arisu thinks that there is no point in his existence and lunges to quit the game by taking the pills Mira asked him to consume. Right then, Usagi abruptly enters the other room and begins conversing with Arisu. The game will be over once Arisu reveals that he is willing to give up, and that is what Mira is compelling him to do. But there's a catch. As soon as Usagi accepts that the game is genuine, her legs begin to bleed again. There is no way that it can be an illusion because she also participated in these games. She even cuts her wrist to make Arisu believe that it is all true. Finally, when Usagi is about to lose consciousness, Arisu talks to her and decides to live the rest of his life with her. He then decides to continue playing the game, and as soon as he says so, the scene shifts back to the rooftop. After realizing that she is destined to lose, Mira makes the decision to start the decisive round. Till the very end of the game, Arisu remains adamant about continuing the game and does not even think of quitting it. Eventually, the Queen of Hearts' last round is finally over and Arisu completes all the rounds. At last, Arisu begs Mira to tell him about this fictional world. But Mira sets a condition. She states they will be given 2 options, and regardless of which one he chooses, he will receive the answer, and this response will aid Arisu in learning about this virtual reality gaming world. Next, a laser falls from the sky and kills Mira, with fireworks lighting up the night sky. Following this, an announcement is made, asking the players to decide whether they want to stay in this realm, or go back to their own world. Usagi and Arisu choose to return, and all the other players, like Kishiya, Naragi, Kyuna, Aguni, and Akane, also make the decision to go back to the real world. The world then suddenly returns to normal, and Arisu finds himself roaming around the streets with his pals Karub and Chota. All of the players who made it through the game are still around the same area, but the ones who died seem to have suffered the same fate. Right then, a large meteor hits the earth, killing a lot of people and destroying everything. In the next scene, Arisu opens his eyes in the hospital, with his brother looking after him. He tells Arisu that his heart stopped beating for a minute. Hearing this, Arisu replies that the minute felt like an eternity for him. Similarly, other participants are also in the same hospital, and all of them suffered a cardiac arrest for a brief time. Akane, who is strolling in the hallway, stops in front of an operation theater and looks at Aguni as if she knows him. On the other hand, Kuina reunites with her parents, who are really happy to see her alive. In the last part of the episode, Arisu and Usagi meet each other as strangers, but both of them feel a sort of connection. They converse for a while and decide to go outside the hospital for some time. The episode ends with all of the playing cards flying away from the table, with only the Joker card remaining there, which indicates that there is still something remaining. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.